Welcome, everyone. You guys are all getting situated. That's fantastic. Okay, we are getting situated. Everyone's figuring out their small groups. If there's something that you're missing, be patient with us. We'll make sure you get it. There are a few of you that showed up today that you registered sometime this past week. We were not able to process registrations this past week. We were too busy getting ready for today, doing lots of other things. We will process all registrations tomorrow. Today is the last day of registration. If you know of a friend who needs to be registered, let them know. It ends at midnight tonight, and it is a hard deadline. Second year students, you have a backpack? So there was a question, and I'm sorry I wasn't clear about this. Your backpack from last year is what you will use this year. We have a new book for everyone. We will be handing that out today. Every student should get one, even if there's a couple of students in a family. We want every student to have one, and we want every small group leader to have one. So make sure you grab them. Parents, you get to share with your students. That's, I think, everything for now. Father's going to kick off the lesson in just a minute. I'm going to go grab a music stand so we have something to put things on, but then we'll get started. Thank you all for being here today.
All right. How's everyone doing? Guys excited? I'm excited to see you guys. I missed you. The summer comes around, all of a sudden my parish, everyone goes on vacations. It's like a ghost town. There's, it's just me and like Edelweiss, no one else. It's kind of sad sometimes, So I'm glad to see everybody here. Has everyone found their groups? Everyone's sitting in their groups? Okay. So we do want to make sure we give enough time to know people on the group. And I know our second year confirmandi already had a confirmation retreat. That was a lot of fun. Now here's the thing. I was told to not speak past 10:10. And I'm going to hold to that. However, I don't have a watch and I don't have a cell phone. So I need a brave confirmandi who has a watch to raise their hand. Are you brave? Are you really brave? Okay, so this is what I need you to do, okay? So you need to watch the watch, and when 10:10 rolls around, I need you to stand up in your pew and roost like a rooster. And that way I know to end my talk. Because otherwise I'll keep going forever, okay? Do you think you could do that? 10:10. Can you give me a good rooster? No? I can't. You got that in you? What about a cow? What sound does a cow make? Moo? All right, so at 10:10, stand on the pew and then moo. And you got to make sure it's like an angry cow. One of those like Utah winter cows. One of those like I've been snowed on in Roosevelt or wherever. I'll tell you what, you can make any animal noise you want. You could yodel. No? I'm excited for 10:10 now, aren't you guys? I am. I am now like, you know what? I don't even want to talk. I almost want to just wait till 10:10 to see what animal noise he chooses. Because like that's what I'm looking forward to. That's what I'm excited about. Like, and you know what? Now for the next 35 minutes, I'm going to be or 25 minutes of talking, I'm going to be a lot happier because I know something amazing is going to happen. It's Cristiano, right? Cristiano is going to get up at 10:10. He's going to surprise and shock us all with like some pterodactyl noise or something, right? And it's just going to be amazing. So, if you know something is awesome about to happen, does it change the day you're living in today? It kind of does, right? So let's say it's Thanksgiving. Have you guys had a Thanksgiving meal? Done Thanksgiving? Christmas? Whatever? Right? And you know Christmas is coming up. All of a sudden you start changing the way you live your life because this thing is coming up. And what I want to chat with you today is about saints and confirmation saints. Because so often in confirmation we think of our saints and we sometimes just think it's a name and be like, oh, athlete, I want St. Sebastian. Hey, I like animals, I pick St. Francis of Assisi. But when we think of saints, we should actually be looking at a great example. Because the saints lived their lives knowing that something awesome is going to happen to them when they die. That Jesus Christ keeps His promises. That Jesus Christ promises us eternal life. And I don't even know how awesome eternal life is because I'm not eternal. But it's enough to get me excited now. It's enough to make me want to live my life for Jesus today. To make my life look like the cross. And when I fail, I trust God's mercy. When I make mistakes, I go to my friends, the church, and I ask them to encourage me. When my brother and sister are struggling, I encourage them. I love others the way Jesus Christ loved me because of the promise that I have that one day I will be with Him in heaven. And I'll be with my family and my friends. And it's going to be awesome. 10:10 will come around and this little awesomeness will happen. But one day, we're going to die. And then the most awesome gift that we'll ever get is going to happen. Because we share in the life, the death, and the resurrection of Jesus. I want to talk about two saints today. I saw that, by the way. You're excited to die. That's good. That's not good. We are excited to live. But death is our victory, right? That's what St. Paul says. I'm not giving you anything new. This is copyright infringement, okay? This is what the church has been professing for 2,000 years. That our hope is in the resurrection. Our hope is to be with Jesus. How many of you guys know the story of St. Maria Goretti? Or have heard of St. Maria Goretti? I know some of you guys wrote about her. Nope, they all graduated. That's right. So, St. Maria Goretti is one of my favorite saints, and she's actually the youngest canonized saint in the church. She was martyred at 11 years and 8 months, and she was born in 1890 in Italy. And she was a very, poor peasant farm girl that lived in kind of the middle of the boot, and then she moved down to near Rome, about an hour south of Rome, in this little town called Le Ferrier. And Maria Goretti was this girl that just wanted to be with Jesus. She just had it in her. It was like something that she always wanted. She wanted to be truthful. She was like the older sister, so she was always kind of like in charge of her little siblings and stuff like that. And she just wanted to be close to God. She actually begged the priest to give her first communion early because she wanted to. She wanted to be with Jesus. In fact, all the little villagers would call her little Marietta, right? One day, Maria Goretti is going to change the lives of so many people around her when she dies. But it's not going to be because she dies. It's because of the witness she made in her death. Maria Goretti is going about her business. She's an 11-year-old girl, 11 years, 8 months. It's 1901. And all of a sudden, one of the other farmhands that's working there, Alessandro Serenelli, actually goes and attacks Maria Goretti. And he's actually going to try to hurt her. He's actually going to try to rape her. But Maria Goretti pushes him off. It's like, no, Alessandro, it's a sin. Please don't. And Alessandro grabs a screwdriver and stabs her 14 times in the stomach. The villagers, the people around the farm in Les Ferriers, actually come in. They grab Alessandro, they throw him off to jail. They take Maria Goretti, they take her off to the hospital in Coronaldo. It's 10 miles away, and she's got to be on the back of a wagon, and she has a stomach injury. It's a lot of pain. They rush her to the hospital. The priest meets her there. And the priest looks at Maria Goretti before she's going to go into surgery to maybe save her life. And he looks at Maria Goretti and says, "Do you forgive him?" What she says next is why I chose Maria Goretti to be my saint when I was confirmed. Maria Goretti looks at Alessandro, or looks at the priest, thinking of Alessandro, and says, "Not only do I forgive him, but I hope one day he is with me in heaven." I want to say that again because I think it's almost like the definition of charity. Not only do I forgive him, but I hope one day he is with me in heaven. They perform the surgery on Maria Goretti, but things are too late. She dies. Her story's not over yet, though. Alessandro Serenelli is too young to actually be charged for capital punishment. And so they're talking about, how long he's going to have to serve in prison. But shortly after, Alessandro Serenelli, who is denying everything he did, which is ridiculous, he was kind of caught red-handed. But Alessandro Serenelli, one day in his prison, actually had a dream. And Maria Goretti appears to Alessandro in a dream. And Maria Goretti hands a white lily, 14 white lilies to Alessandro. And each time Alessandro went to grab a white lily, it became a white flame in his hand. Alessandro in prison, in this dream, all of a sudden had this radical insight that little Marietta actually forgives him. And if she forgives him, he should embrace the cross and the mercy and the forgiveness of Jesus Christ. And he actually gives his entire life to Jesus. He actually becomes a third-order Capuchin when he leaves the prison, dedicating his life to poverty and the poor. And then he goes to Maria Goretti's mother to ask for forgiveness. Her name's Assunta. And Assunta was very poor. She was illiterate. And actually, guys, when people were giving her cards, they wanted her to sign the Maria Goretti cards because the Italians were like, she's going to become a saint. Assunta, it's so amazing. You're the mother of a saint. That's kind of wild, right? Well, you signed the cards. And she didn't know how to write her name. But each card she grabbed, she looked at the picture and she kissed it. Alessandro Serenelli goes to Assunta, throws himself at her feet, and says, "Will you forgive me?" And Assunta says, "If she can forgive you, I can forgive you." But then she took it one step further, and she adopted him. If you go to Coronaldo, Italy, their house still stands. It's a little farmhouse. When I was in Rome, I went there 3 times. And if you go up to the upstairs, near the cliff, you'll find a room that's maybe the size of those 3 pews, right? There's enough room there for like a little single bed, a little nightstand, and a chair. And that's the bed that Assunta Goretti would die in when she was at old age. And do you know who is sitting next to her? Alessandro Serenelli, who never left her side. I love this story for a lot of reasons. I love this story because there's great lines in it that give us awesome definitions of what charity is. Not only do I forgive him, but I hope one day he is with me in heaven, but we actually see how a witness of holiness and a witness of mercy has these ripple effects that change people's lives. Guys, you're all called to be saints. You're called that your actions, your words, how you love God, how you love one another, how you treat your neighbor, how you show forgiveness to each other, is actually going to be a witness that's going to shape and change your brothers and your sisters' lives, your family's lives, your neighbors' lives. Some stranger you haven't met yet, maybe in 10 years you're going to meet the person, and you know what? You're going to change that person's life. Why? Because you're a witness of something that is eternal. You're a witness of something that is life-changing and life-giving and transformative. You are a witness of the love of Jesus Christ from the cross poured out into the world. And it's not an easy love. It's a love that's going to require you to suffer. It's a love that's going to come at a cost. It's a love that is selfless and not selfish. You know how often I fail at what I just said? Like every day. Like I preach that and I'm like, yeah! And then I'll get in my car and someone will cut me off or something. And I'll immediately become like caveman Tilly or something and be like, oh! Like yesterday I was watching the Utes Baylor's game and the Utes were down by 7 with 2 minutes to go and they just were playing just miserable football, and I was getting mad at the TV. Do you know how irrational that is? If you really think about it, just how I'm getting mad at a box that's projecting light. What happens when I sin? I go to confession. I go to the sacraments of the church. I ask for God's grace and God's mercy, and then I pick up the cross again and I keep following Him. Why? Because something awesome will happen. His promise is awesome. What time is it? What time? 9:56. We still have 14 minutes until the great moment that's coming to our way, right? We got 14 minutes. And I have one more story, but I can take 2 questions about St. Maria Goretti. Anyone got a question about the story of St. Maria Goretti? Oh, yes. Yes, so actually, yes, that's a great question. The question was, I said she was martyred. Why was she stabbed? And this was an actual debate in the 20th century in the church because she was defending her Christian virtue. It was a Christian martyrdom. Does that make sense? So it wasn't he didn't kill her because she was Christian, but he killed her because she was standing up for the Christian virtues. That's a great question. Any other questions?
Yeah. This one?
To be a saint, don't you have to have miracles? Did she have any?
The miracles?
What were her miracles to be a saint?
So in the canonization process, there's normally 2 miracles. I actually don't know. I actually have never investigated it. But there is an office in the Vatican that during the canonization process, they investigate these things. So I know they've had to happen, but I don't know what they are. So I'm sorry. A lot of times it's like a healing of cancer, stuff like that. But there was no like stories of Maria Gredi where she performed miracles while she was alive. Does that make sense? Okay. I'm going to tell another saint. I want to tell you another saint. St. Lawrence. Does anyone know who St. Lawrence is? Lorenzo. St. Lawrence is one of my favorite ones. He was like a deacon. And he was deacon in Rome when like the deacon was kind of in charge of like the administration of the thing, right? So you had the Pope, and then you had kind of like the Pope's entourage, and then you had the deacon who was kind of in charge of like the money, right? Because like, well, adults, you know, like money's a thing. It's been a thing since we can remember. And so it's like, and St. Lawrence was the one. Now here's the thing, there was this big persecution that happens in Rome at the time. And the Pope gets martyred. All these cardinals and priests get rounded up and they get martyred. St. Lawrence is still alive. And this emperor that's coming in is actually coming out to St. Lawrence, and he makes this demand. He's like, turn over the wealth of the church, or you're next. Just like I took off this Pope's head, or I hung him. I actually don't know how that Pope died. I know how St. Lawrence died. St. Lawrence says, okay, I'll turn over the wealth of the church. Give me a couple days. A couple days come by. St. Lawrence shows up with all the beggars, with all the lepers, with all the poor people. And he looks at the emperor and he says, look at the wealth of the church. What an insight that the wealth of the church isn't like treasured like gold, but the wealth of the church is actually the poor. The wealth of the church is us, the people. We're the ones created in the image and likeness of God. We're the ones that are endowed with this greatness to actually choose right and wrong. We're the ones that can actually bring virtue into creation. We're the ones that can show stewardship. We're the ones that can like choose the good, right? This emperor wanted like pearls, and he's like, no, this beggar that you step on every single day is more important than all the wealth that's in the church banks. The emperor did not think St. Lawrence was funny, so he takes St. Lawrence and he martyrs him. He actually puts him on a grill and cooks him. Now, the Italians love St. Lawrence. If you ever go to Rome, like everyone's named Lorenzia or Lorenzo, because St. Lawrence had some of that, like by legend, some of that Italian fire. And so the legend goes, and I don't know if this is true, I wasn't there, but I love the legend, right? That while he was being cooked, he yelled out, "Flip me over, I'm done on this side." I don't know. Va bene. What time is it? 10? 10:02? Got 8 minutes, guys. 8 minutes. What are some of your thoughts or questions about the two stories I told you? Oh gosh, I forgot. I want to say it wasn't Nero. Huh? It could be. I think it started with a T, but I can't remember. Maybe. I want to say Tertullian, but that's a saint, so that's not him. In fact, look it up and let me know. I used to remember all these cool details, and I was going to look them up before I talked, but then I got busy. So I don't know. I don't remember all the details. But I don't think it was Nero. If it was Nero, I'll buy you a Coke or something, because I'm pretty sure it wasn't Nero. Now I'm not sure. Who? Valerian? Yeah, that rat. There was a lot of emperors that came in to try to take out the Christians. What other questions? How many of you guys are excited for 1010? Okay, if you're excited for 1010, you guys should be way more excited about heaven, right? What time is it? 10:03. See, this is what happens. This is what happens when I feel like a kid waiting to go out there for Christmas, okay? So, here's the thing, guys. We're going to hand out, we're going to do things a little differently a little bit for confirmation. This year, I'm going to ask everyone to do one assignment, and the next year it's going to be a confirmandi 1 year. And we're going to have this worksheet to help you guys work out who you want your confirmation saint to be. And even though it's due your year 1, if you change your mind in year 2, you can change your mind. But the reason I'm going to give you guys a worksheet, and you guys have to fill it out with pen and paper and like ink or pencil, is because I don't trust AI. And so I don't want to assign like reports or anything like that. I want you guys to actually look it up, write it down, write down some names, think some things, right? Spend some time, turn in a physical paper like we have done for a long time. Year 2, I can chat with you. Is year 2 on this side for the most part? Or is year 2 on this side?
Oh, they're over here.
Yours here. Okay. I'm going to give you a heads up because you're going to have a special assignment this year, which is around December. Or actually, it'll be due by December.
Yeah.
You'll actually need to petition for confirmation by hand. I want you to write a letter to me and to the bishop, because the bishop will show up and he'll actually do this, right? Asking for confirmation and why you want to be confirmed. And I want it by hand. And I want it by hand because it's very important. When I was actually asking the bishop to be ordained a priest, I had to write by hand and ask him, "Dear Bishop Solis, I've accomplished all the things that I had to do. Now I seek ordination to the priesthood. Will you please consider me a candidate for holy orders?" And then he said yes, and then he had me write with my hand the creed. And after I wrote down the creed, he made me sign it in front of him. Because the church is worth taking seriously. The message that we talk about on Sundays and that your families are going to get together and talk about are worth contemplating seriously. Jesus Christ is going to claim that He is God. That's a bold claim. That's a serious claim. That's a claim that's going to change the way you live your life. Guys, take it serious. If you don't take it serious, you're going to live an inauthentic life. And that's not a life worth living. $10:07. I thought you were brave. Okay, so we have 3 minutes. Now we have the choice here. Because there's a lot of us. Do we force him at 10:10 to stand up on the pew and make the sound of an animal? Or do we forgive him and allow him to not do that? By the way, I have no idea how this is going to go. This is kind of like some mad social experiment. How many think we should have like mob rule and force them to do this? Raise your hand. How many think we should forgive them? Raise your hand. Okay, I'm going to redo my lesson. I'll tell you what. I'll forgive you. All right? I'll forgive you.
There'll
and
be
in
more.
fact, I'll do more. I will do it for you. I will moo like the maddest cow that Utah has ever seen when 10:10 rolls around. And I'll do that just because I love you. Jesus Christ embraces the cross so we can overcome suffering. Is it 10:10 yet? 10:08. Oh my gosh. Did you hear that? Hold up. What was your idea?
I said, I think we should all stand up and do it at 10:10.
All right, I'm going to let Nancy go, so I'm going to do it a couple minutes early, okay? So I can turn it over. By the way, I've actually never heard the sound that I'm about to make. I've never worked on a cow. So I just want to let you know that if this is not like National Geographic historical, it's okay. Ready? All right. Is that pretty good? Hey guys, it was early. Sometimes I deliver my promises early.
That was amazing.
I love you guys, and I'm glad you're here, and I'll let Nancy take over, okay?
Thank you, Father. All right, small group leaders, it is your turn now. You are going to first share your patron saint or a saint that's special to you. And then second, because you are a saint in the making, like all of us are, you're going to share a little bit about yourself. I know that the pew situation is not that great. So, small group leaders, you have 15 minutes. If you want to take your small group somewhere else, the gathering space is open, you can go outside, but you must be back here at 10:25, okay? Must be. Please leave all your stuff. You actually don't need to take anything with you. If you're gonna move fast, go. My two helpers who are gonna, go ahead everyone. My two helpers who are gonna help hand out books, please see me now. Go fast, go fast, go fast.
Let's check that mom and see if she's first Holy Communion.
Evie and Domenica, can you come see me? 5 more minutes. I'm sorry, I know it goes so fast. Okay. Awesome. Groups, head back to your spots. So hopefully today you got introduced to a few different saints. And parents, go home today. Your homework assignment is to share with your students the saint that is important to you. Could be more than one. Fantastic. Thank you so much for coming back on time, guys. Greatly appreciate that. Okay, we just have a few more minutes. I want to introduce you to Kira Anderson. She is my assistant now. She will be, yes, thank you. Yes. Over time, she and I are going to be attached at the hip, and she is just going to be a wonderful lifesaver to me. Okay. Things we need to cover today. You'll learn more about Kira in the weeks to come, but we're not going to take it time today because we're all adjusting. We've got music people who need to practice before Mass, so we want to get out of here as close to 10:30 as possible. I want to remind you guys, I didn't grab one. Parents, you all should have a red, I believe it's red parent folder. Is it red? Thank you. Can't remember which color we used for what year. Now if you came and your kid wasn't assigned to a small group yet, you don't have a parent folder yet because I haven't processed your registrations. If there was a registration that came in last week, it did not get processed, more than likely, because we needed to spend time getting ready for today. So we just didn't have time. We will get them all processed tomorrow or Tuesday. And you will get information from us. Okay, if you have reached out to us saying, hey, we're not getting the emails, I wrote it down somewhere. Again, there was a lot we had to get done last week. We will get in touch with you. We will make sure that you are getting the emails. The emails are extremely important, as are the text messages. The text messages do not come from a number that is Skaggs Catholic Center or St. John the Baptist Parish or Nancy Lafort. It's a random number. Please don't ignore those, okay? Those are sending you information that you need to know for your student. Parents, how the program works is largely on you, okay? We're not a school. We don't want our 7th and 8th graders and our 9th and our 10th and 11th graders to be doing this program on their own, okay? You are the first catechist for them. And if you're not participating, they're not going to see any value in this. And there's immense value in this, okay? So you're getting the messages. You're working with your student. You're not handing things over and saying, go do this, okay? You're participating with them. You're on a journey with them. Turns out, the church knows what they're doing. We have our kids, and every one of them goes through the sacraments, and we participate with them. And guess what? We learn every single time we go through a sacrament prep with our kids. We learn more, and our relationship with Jesus changes. And that's a good thing. Okay, so there were 2 assignments Father talked about. There's actually 3, okay? In your parent packet, okay, and if you don't have it with you, that's okay. Hopefully it's at home. You have the materials you need for your students to complete the 3 assignments. First year it's 2 assignments, second year it's 3. Okay, the first one, kids, students, it's your saint selection and your saint questionnaire. Okay, so that sheet looks like this. And when you get your folder, parents, you've got it. Okay, next time we meet, your small group leaders will have more copies. We'll have copies of these, so if you need to get another copy. It will also be on the confirmation resource page, so you can download it at home. It's not there today, but it's one of our to-dos for this week. You're picking out a saint, and on the back, you're answering the questions, okay? The second assignment for all of you is picking out a confirmation sponsor. So this sheet is your sponsor certificate. They have to fill out the bottom, or actually they have to write in their name. Then they have to take it to their home parish. And the home parish will sign it, stamp it. It must have the stamp. And then that hard copy gets sent to us. The address of our parish is at the top. You have all the information you need here. Again, this piece of paper is in your parent folder. We will again put it on the resource page, and we will have a few copies in your small group leaders box next week. Okay, the last assignment is for year 2 only. Year 2, you are working on your request letter now. There is a sheet that walks you through how to do it. Needs to be handwritten to Father Tilly. Okay, make sure you sign it so we know who it's coming from. And you hand it in to one of us or your small group leader. They'll put it in their bin and we'll get it. Okay? Start working on it right away. Please do not wait till December. Please start working on it right now. And the due date for this is December 10th. The due date for the saint selection paper and the confirmation certificate is November 5th. Okay? We're shifting things because it's important that you know who these people are, your sponsor and your saint. Those are 2 people who are going to journey with you through this process. Joel, do you have a question? Okay. All right, everyone meaning every student and every small group leader should have this book now. This is our new book for this year. Okay? Everyone also got a catechism for adults. That is going to be more used as a reference book, or we offer sections of it for parents to read. Okay, so that you have more information. But this will be our focus. All right? Any questions about anything? If you have a question specifically about your child, after we do a dismissal, I will be in the gathering space in the back corner. Come find me there because everyone needs to get ready for Mass. So I'm going to move out of here as quickly as possible to the gathering space. Correct. Year 1 students, pick a sponsor, pick a saint now, and do the paper. It's not a paper. It is different. Yeah, if it changes over time, that's fine. That's fine. If you pick one and you start talking to them and realize, it's not going that well, or you pick one, don't really say anything to them, but someone else comes into your life, you can change them. That's totally, totally fine. But the sooner you know who they are, the sooner you can work with them. And this is a journey for multiple people. You want people with you on this journey. Yes, sir?
So for the year 1 students, will they be receiving their questionnaire sheet?
It's in your folder. The year, right-hand side. Right-hand side. So all of the to-dos are in the right-hand side of your parent folder. And understand we are human. Maybe we messed up and someone doesn't have a copy. Again, we will have copies for the next sanctuary lesson, and it will be on the confirmation resource page. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you need to go find an email that tells you to watch the parent orientation, or you need to read your packet. Okay? The information about the resource page is in there, and it's important that you know what that is. Any other questions? Awesome. Let's end in prayer. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit, amen. Our Father, who art in heaven, Have a blessed 2 weeks. Next week is a family lesson.